she decided that she was going to fight back. And she decided that she would choose a dress that she had previously rejected as being a little outre, a little too much. And she would put that on and go out on the town.
Princess Diana, who declined to take part in the program, was tonight attending a charity dinner while her husband spoke of their past and future to millions.
It was really one of the most striking dresses she has worn. It was definitely one of the most revealing.
Christina Stambolian had designed this dress for Princess Diana, and it's like every...
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are making Princess Diana's revenge dress. So Princess Diana wore this dress the night that Prince Charles announced that he was having an affair, and is a very daring dress for her in that time because even though she wasn't technically a royal anymore, she still had an affiliation to the royal family, and the low neckline, asymmetrical cut that was relatively short with the heels and the necklace was a very big deal for this time. So today I wanted to make that dress, especially given what was going on in the past few weeks, as y'all probably have seen with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry giving their tell-all interview to Oprah. And in my opinion, Prince Markle is the Queen of England, so I really wanted to do something inspired by royal family members that I and a lot of other people actually like. So that's why I made this dress. I would say that this is the hardest, technically hardest dress I've made. I don't know if that makes sense, but I used a lot of different techniques. Like I drafted the top part of the pattern by draping it on myself, kind of. You'll see how I did that in a second. And I used boning or zip ties for boning. Yeah, and I also made the necklace myself, which I will also go into, and if y'all want a tutorial more in depth on how I did that or any alternatives, because I did that in a way that might not be accessible to everyone, let me know. But don't forget to follow me on social media. I hope you liked the video, and if you do, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe. Okay, so you might be wondering what's going on. So I'm making Princess Diana's revenge dress given everything that has happened in the past few weeks with the royal family, because I absolutely love Princess Diana and I love Meghan Markle, and I thought this would be a fitting time. And yeah, I'm not doing it exactly as the dress actually was, because I think I looked it up and it was silk and it was ruched, but I have some velvet fabric that I'm going to use, and because I'm creating a sweetheart neckline, I'm going to be creating a bodice for it. And since I don't have a dress form or a dress form that's at my job, I have a dress form, but I don't have one that's specific to me and my measurements, so I'm going to use this to draft as if I am a dress form, and then transfer the pattern onto paper and like adjust any measurements that are needed. So pretty much this is just a bed sheet. This is not muslin, it's just a bed sheet that I thrifted for being able to draft patterns. And I don't know if you can tell, but I have a few pins throughout my shirt to just keep it in place. The back is falling down some, which I didn't really realize, but I might have to fix that later when I do copy it over. So what I'm gonna do is just draft out. So I think I want it to stop here, so this is about the middle, and just like draft the neckline I want, so the sweetheart, and then kind of just draw over where I want it to go. Okay, actually I'm gonna need to repin the back of this, so I will be back in 2 seconds. The back is not amazing, but it's a little bit better for what I'm trying to do. So I have the neckline where I want it, and then it's just gonna come straight down here, all the way down, and I'm gonna attach the waist separately, and I'm also gonna make a different pattern for the waist. Now I'm gonna take it across until roughly my mid back. And I'm gonna try to draw a straight line up, and then from over here draw it to where I want it to go in the back. Now I'm gonna cut it out and I'm gonna show y'all that. Here I am just drawing out the pattern, defining the neckline and the edges and the bottom just a little bit more. Then I am cutting it out. Also ignore the fact that I did not iron this. I probably should have. Then I'm drawing out the style lines, and I'm doing them in blue because you can see, you're supposed to be able to see it a little bit better. And then I am cutting those out. Now I'm just tracing them onto wrapping paper, and I'm adding seam allowance for that first piece. I'm just flipping it in half so it can be one piece instead of needing to connect two pieces. Also, the seam allowance is important because putting in the boning, you need extra to make the channels, so that's one thing to keep in mind when you're doing this. Okay, so I cut out the pattern pieces. One second. Come here, please. And these two will need two, and this one is like both sides. I added seam allowance from the other piece, and for the skirt, since it's asymmetrical, I'm gonna use the bodice block that I used before and I made a video on that I will put the little eye in the corner if you want to go and see. I will use that skirt pattern and just draw out an asymmetrical part for that. For the skirt, I'm just tracing the skirt pattern that I already made, and I'm flipping it over, and then I'm going to draw out, mark where I want the diagonal to go, and then cut that out as a part of it. Okay, so I cut out the skirt. The pattern was definitely big because I didn't add in the darts, and I think I'm just going to take it in as needed. So I'll probably just see if this is the length that I want and maybe make the like diagonal a little bit more intense, but I'm going to cut out the pattern or the fabric and I'm going to gradient sew it. Enjoy, y'all. Okay, so I cut out the pieces, the skirts on my bed. I'm going to iron them out and then I'm going to sew them. So I'm going to sew like all of those seams together, and also have a lining one so I can do boning, and then also so it'll be easier to finish the neckline. So yeah, I'm going to do that and I will show y'all. Okay, so I saw somewhere online that you should do a stay stitch on this piece and then cut it some so it's easier to pin to the other pieces. So I'm going to do that and then I'm going to sew them all together. Okay, so I cut the little notches, and so now it should be easier when I put the right sides together to be able to mold it to this. Okay, so I sewed the lining together. I'm going to now press out the seams flat, and then I'm gonna cut out or cut half of one side over on each one and then fold it down and then stitch it down to create a boning channel, and then I'm going to put boning in, and I'm going to use zip ties as boning. Okay, so I've seen a lot of people do this before. I think the first time I saw it was with Wendy, where she used zip ties as boning. So I'm gonna use these because I don't actually have boning, and it's also like more attainable for like everyday people. So I'm gonna put them into these channels. I ended up not cutting off the extra seam allowance, but I'm just gonna put them into these channels that I created and then sew the front pieces together. Okay, so I have the right sides pinned together. I'm gonna sew along all the edges for the bottom, and then I'm gonna turn it inside out, flip it, and then I'm gonna sew the skirt together. Okay, so I top stitched the top, and I'm going to attach this to the skirt. Also, I messed up the pattern a little bit, and the back is a little bit too short, so I'm just gonna add loops like I did in my last video to be able to tie it up. So I will link that above. And then I'll make the sleeves, and I think that should be it. Okay, so I cut out 2 rectangles that are the length of my arm, and I'm going to hem the edges on both, and then I'm just gonna sew them together right sides like this, and then I'm just gonna attach them to the side of the dress. So I'm gonna do that, and then this will be done. Okay, now I started. This is Carlissa. Hello. Okay, so I want to make the necklace, and I'm at work. I'm not on the clock, and I'll probably show the space more because it's a really cool space, and if you're a Vanderbilt student, you should come here. But I'm gonna make a mold, or I'm gonna make with my own gem, but I need to make a silicone mold, so I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna make this into a box, And I'm either gonna use one of these rings, these kids rings that I bought from Walmart to be like to hold the jewel, or I'm gonna carve down a styrofoam ball to be able to make this for the mold, and then I'll go from there. Necklace, and I can do a more in-depth tutorial on this later. I'm just cutting out the styrofoam into the shape that I want. I ended up putting duct tape around it and hot gluing it into the mold so it would fit. This is the silicone mold, and I'm now mixing the resin, and I am putting food coloring to dye it the blue that I want it to be. And then I hot glued these gems on it, and then I used some jump rings and more hot glue to attach the chain. Thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. Like I said earlier, don't forget to like and subscribe, follow me on social media, and let me know if you like this dress. It was a very iconic moment in fashion history. And if you did, also let me know what is one of your favorite fashion moments, and maybe I will recreate it. But thank you for watching. I'll see you next week. Bye.